For the third year in a row, we at Marine Log have recognized our top women in maritime. This is only a fraction of the outstanding women nominated by their industry peers. These women, like those before them, were selected on their leadership, vision, innovation, and accomplishments. These women were also from various backgrounds, ages, locations, and have unique expertise, whether that be shoreside in an office or on board a vessel. As we move ahead into 2023, I look forward to acknowledging more of these women in our December issue of Marine Log magazine. Thank you so much for joining us today at TTB, and thank you for supporting our recognition of these top women in maritime.
The major changes that I've noticed in this industry have to do with the number of women that have entered the workforce in a management level. Going back to the late 80s, 90s, there were no women. It was not unusual for me to go to many conventions and I would be the only woman in the room. With that said, in addition, women weren't invited regularly to play in golf outings. They weren't invited to do much. And the first time I tried to play in a golf tournament, I had to get permission to play. So you have seen many, many, many changes in the last 20, 30 years with women being more accepted.
The biggest change I've seen in the maritime industry over my career has been the increasing numbers of women in leadership positions. When I first started out, there would just be a couple of women in every conference room. But now, not only do you see more women around the table, but you also see women in leadership positions. We've got Admiral Phillips leading the Maritime Administration, Admiral Fagan leading the Coast Guard, Admiral Noonan leading it at the Merchant Marine Academy, Jennifer Carpenter doing great work at the American Waterways Operators. Women have always made significant contributions to the industry, and it is so fulfilling and really inspirational to see that work being rewarded. And it builds. We will see more women entering the workforce and entering the industry because they have so many great women leaders to look up to.
From personal experience, I will say that the future of maritime for women coming into the workforce is a positive one. The maritime industry is much more accepting of women than it was 10 or 20 years ago. The industry has shifted from a segregated and limited place to a much more supportive and encouraging environment for women. The opportunities are there, the companies are hiring, training is available, and the positions are open. You just have to go after it. I personally have seen many more women out on boats and barges in all positions, deckhands, tankermen, wheelhouse personnel, and I hope these numbers continue to grow. We as women have the opportunity, we just have to go after them.
In the past 10 years since I've been a naval architect, I've seen a whole bunch of changes in the industry, both in field work and in desk work engineering. A couple of the exciting ones have been the increase in collaboration that we get to do with other industries across the board as ships and barges and things invest in new technologies, and seeing just the increase in women that we get to collaborate with, not only in naval architecture, but also in the other surrounding fields, has been really enjoyable. Additionally, just the increase in number of women that are out there in naval architecture is always exciting. And then the last really is, as a young female engineer, it's a little intimidating coming into a more male-dominated field. But watching as the respect for those younger women increases across the board, whether you're in the shipyard or you're doing a design work, or you're just on a call with other engineers, watching those young female engineers at our office have come in with a level of respect that's already given to them is really, really a cool thing to witness.
I was honored to be included in Marine Log's 2022 Top Women in Maritime. My colleagues on the list are wonderful women who are really a testament to the emergence of women in the industry. When I started in 2001 as a deckhand, there weren't that many of us around. Now I found myself surrounded by intelligent, smart, capable women in all aspects of the industry, and it makes it a pleasure to go to work every day.
When I graduated and entered the industry in 2006, women had not yet become a regular part of the workforce. Early in my career, I worked for many individuals who were not as accepting as women in the industry, as most are today. Starting in this challenging environment dampened my confidence and slowed my professional growth. Many of my colleagues participating in the same projects were excelling, and I was not. I am currently working with a group of individuals whom accept my skills and abilities, where my voice is being heard more clearly than ever before. The ongoing empowerment of women in maritime is removing barriers from our progress and encouraging growth within the industry. As a result, women are more accepted and promoted than ever.
Greetings from Washington, D.C. I want to give a huge shout out to the ladies that are joining the maritime industry. Ladies, you are joining an amazing field of women. And this field of women has been around for about 100 years. So I'd like to say thank you as I welcome you to the industry, to all the women who served before us, the women who served in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and let's keep on going, 80s, 90s, and early aughts. Ladies, you've blazed an amazing path. And because you blazed that path, the women today have an amazing future. So thank you to the women who served before us. We salute you. And to the ladies who are joining us today, welcome. We're excited to have you.
As an optimist with a vision of a sustainable future for all, one that is just, equitable, and fair, aligned with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Climate Agreement ambitions, it's a monumental task, and definitely one that includes women in large numbers to accomplish. Yet, it is estimated by the IMO that only 1.2% of women join the seafarer workforce. We must draw on women and diverse members of our community. Only then can we attain the talented workforce needed for our industry to thrive. Throughout my seagoing and maritime career, I found myself representing half of our population at the table. I didn't find many female leaders to emulate within the industry. Once women started to share their stories and connect within our diversity, inclusion, and belonging colleague networks, and specifically within the Gender Equality Network, we found we had so many shared experiences and common bonds. It is this aim to hear and see our female colleagues throughout the organization that will lead to increased representation. The colleague network spaces are inspiring new generations to follow their passions to a maritime career and a place where they are welcomed, safe, and valued, both on board and in the boardroom.
As a naval architect with 26 years of experience, I have witnessed of maritime industry from a traditional male-dominated field to one with more diversity and equalities. Nowadays, I'm pleased to have more and more female colleagues and LinkedIn contacts. The maritime industry is constantly evolving and adapting to new technology and environmental concern. The future of the maritime industry looks promising for women entering the workforce. I believe with more talent, female architects join the field, they will bring more and more creative design from their unique perspectives.
So I think the future for women in the maritime industry is bright. I think the industry is poised for a real increase in numbers of women in all sorts of areas in the industry. Organizations like Women Offshore that have enabled this tremendous networking opportunity so that women know that they're not the only ones out there. There's a big support system now. You can be a mariner and a mother and have a wonderful life and not really have to give up any of it, particularly in the field of pilotage, which is my personal experience that there are 1,200 pilots in the country and fewer than 40 women. There are no good reasons for those numbers not to change. We are, after all, half the population, and piloting is kind of a perfect job for a parent of any gender. But particularly, I think for moms, it's a great way to keep excelling in your profession, rising to the top of your profession, and be a really engaged parent. So I see some more and more of these barriers falling all the time.
The future of the maritime industry for women is growing and full of opportunity. Since starting my maritime career more than 20 years ago as a shipboard engineer, and even now in my role with Crowley, there's been an increase in female representation across the board, both onboard vessels and in shoreside support and business-related roles. As the industry grows, it's an exciting time to be engaged, develop new skills, and cultivate our talents. Through innovation and the development of technology for more sustainable solutions, there are opportunities to make valued impacts. It is motivating to see what we have achieved, and I know that women will continue to make their mark on the maritime industry. It's also exciting to see more and more women holding leadership positions within the industry, demonstrating that possibilities are endless for women in maritime.
I think the future of maritime for women coming into the workforce is limitless. The next generation of women is entering the industry at a time when there's great opportunity for growth and advancement. I've been able to chart my own course at Gloston because I'm supported and respected for my background and diverse perspective. Women have more of a voice now than ever before, and our numbers are only growing. I find it inspiring to see women in prominent positions across all areas of our industry. We're rising to the ranks of leadership and mentoring the next generation so they can join us. I'm proud to serve on Gloston's leadership team, along with 3 other women out of only 10 individuals. I'm proud to be great friends with the first female captain to sail a container ship to Alaska. I'm proud to serve on the board of the Seattle Propeller Club, whose current president and past president are women. It feels like we're finding our voice and taking our rightful places at the helm. There is value in a different perspective, and when that representation is there, the industry on the whole is better for it.